I'm your host, Ramon Roan.
My name is John Singletary.
We'd like to thank you for watching our program again. Please subscribe and please visit our website at www.jfrinc. The title of this video is Remembering Marion Barry. John, I did not know the contributions that Marion Barry did. Because if you look at the media, what we would see about Marion Barry, what we would see about his being incarcerated, smoking crack inside a hotel room with a woman that wasn't his wife, we'll see all the wrong that he does. And that's why it's so important for us to have, as black people, to have our own media. Because we don't get the good that Marion Barry, and you can find it, but the media won't cover that. And I'm really upset at TMZ for saying that that's the crack mayor. I believe the title was "The Crack Mayor Dead at 78." I find that to be disrespectful, and I think that if anyone has, I think all people should just boycott TMZ. I wouldn't even watch another program there, or even don't even buy no products for anyone who advertises on TMZ for them to do that. But Marion Barry, he did actually he opened the door, and there was a lot that you can learn from Marion Barry.
Of course, unfortunately this week a couple of our icons in Black America passed away. Herman Russell, third largest black business in the United States,
right,
passed away. Marion Barry passed away, and it's unfortunate that
Herman Russell was the millionaire in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
Right.
Herman Russell was the contractor in Atlanta.
Right.
Marion Barry did a lot for African American people. And to see someone pull out just one of the things that he did in order to shed a negative light says that they really don't understand what forward movement in our community is all about. To pull one incident, you could, no matter what leader, at what capacity, you can always find something negative. But you should try and find something positive. Marion Barry probably single-handed made more black millionaires that I know of than probably any other mayor in the history of the United States. That's probably one of the reasons why the crack issue was simply proliferated like it was. Not that he was right in what he was doing. We know it was wrong for him to be in that situation, but we have to understand that that is in itself not the major issue. That issue was blown out of proportion because of the good that Marion Barry did in terms of building the community up and making opportunities for African Americans in Washington, D.C. There were several contracts that African Americans got, rightfully so, through Marion Barry, contracts that they were denied through previous administrations. And so there's so many things that come as a result of that, because the black contractors more likely than not will hire other black individuals, and so it actually permeated throughout the community, and that could be seen and recognized in the fact that he was elected several times after that as mayor as well as to the council. So when we consider the total impact that Marion Barry had on the African American community, not just in DC but at large, because those contracts are much larger than just that local area, then we have to say that he exemplified in his business dealings what many others should be doing. Right. You know, we oftentimes have what we call leaders in our community, and when we take a look back, other than the fanfare, there's nothing that you can literally put your finger on and say, you know, that person impacted the African American community by giving contracts, by putting food on the table, and on down the line. Right. Marion Barry is someone who you can say that about. His contribution has been substantial. Yeah. And so we don't need to water down his positive contribution by taking one or two small things that were used and blown out of proportion simply because he was, in fact, impacting our community in a positive way.
I mean, when he got in office, he allowed blacks in positions, he appointed blacks in positions that they were never before have been appointed to in the city of DC. And so that was unheard of. And then the allowing to blacks to participate fully into the contract and the bidding process, that had never been done. And what that does, and John and I often talk about the unfairness of the government contracts, be it federal, state, or city. Those contracts are not fairly given. In fact, they are just disproportionately not given. Blacks may receive 5%, 2% of those contracts. And so when we make up 13% of the population, you're getting, on the federal, you're getting like 1% of the contract. And then on top of that is that on the city, you may have 40 or 50 or 70% of the people are black, but they're getting like maybe 5% of the contracts. So what Mayor Barry did is that he made sure that blacks participated, and oftentimes on government contracts they'll put these different regulations in there that where you say, well, you don't qualify. Well, I think that what Marion Barry did, he allowed them to come in, and I think that what should be done on businesses, if you want to get more minority businesses, they need to be a mentoring program even for minority businesses, because many times they don't have like a friend of mine, he bid on a contract that was like for $100,000, they want to have $1 million bond, or some excessive bond for such a small, for such a small contract. Why? And many black businesses, they just don't have that. But what Marion Barry did, he opened the door.
He opened the door.
And we need more black leaders in our municipalities like Marion Barry, because it opens the door to other things. Because if you start off getting a nice contract, well, it can lead to other things that are not supported by the government that can make it a good income. And also, minority businesses, black-owned businesses, are the largest employers of black people. And there's no doubt that we need more black businesses, because we need more job and business opportunities in the black community.
Of course, Marion Barry moved us closer to what we continually advocate on this program, which is proportional assignment. Mm-hmm. Proportional assignment, if you're 48% of the population, then by all accounts, the administration should be taking a look at giving you 48% of the contracts.
Right.
You 48% of the population, then you need 40% of the employment within the city.
That should be the goal.
Exactly
that should
right.
be the goal.
And so,
I've seen goals. I'm sorry cutting you off, but I've seen goals where they want to get 5%. 5%. Wait a minute. And like on the government contract, they want to get 5%. Right. Wait a minute. We're 12 or 13% of the population.
Exactly.
The
right.
goal should be 13% of the population, 13% of the contracts.
Proportional assignment.
Right.
And oftentimes, other businesses, they get experience. It's not that they have the experience coming on. Many times they get experience on the job. Mm-hmm. We take a look at city of North Charleston. We're 48% of the population. Mm-hmm. We get less than 15% of the jobs, right. Less than 15% of the contracts. Right. Mm-hmm. And we're 48% of the population. Mm-hmm. Proportional assignment is what we're advocating, because just the city of North Charleston alone would put another 500 jobs at $40,000 a year into the community, the African American community, if they did proportional assignment. Right. That's just on city employment. Right. That doesn't include the contracts. Right. We're talking about $100 million budget. That's substantial money into the community. Right. And the effects are so far reaching, because say for instance, you have in your community a situation where you paid, like in North Charleston, less than 1/3 of what whites are paid, and your community now becomes subject to a hostile takeover. And when I say subject to a hostile takeover, this is what I'm talking about. Your property values are down. The State Department of Education only gives $4,000 per student in that tax area versus $6,000 in another. So immediately your education opportunities are different as for charter schools, as well as now someone who is being paid 3 times as much can come in and purchase a piece of property in your community, drive your tax base up such that you can't afford to stay in your own community and run you out. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say a hostile takeover, the fact that your property values are driven down, and once they're driven down, now people can come in and with income, get your property cheap, then run you out of your own communities because you can't simply afford to pay the taxes. Why? Because you're making 1/3 of what they're making. And that's happened all over the country. It happened in the city of Charleston.
Or is happening, and it's happening in North Charleston.
Of course it is. And so that's one reason why it's important to get that proportional assignment. That's one reason why HUD right now is pushing the new Secretary Castro. He has Julian Castro, he has a push to get rid of a lot of the zoning codes that are exclusionary zoning codes, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to have more mixed communities, because what happens is it then allows a greater opportunity for the communities to be stable, and for your community, your neighborhood, being African American predominantly, to be less subject to a hostile takeover. Marion Barry helped a lot of communities in the DC area by giving contracts, giving jobs, and so it made them less susceptible to the hostile takeover.
Right. And we can learn a lot from Marion Barry, and we can duplicate many of his policies around this country.
Yeah. If we had more mayors like that, then we'd be well on our way to where we need to be.
Yeah. I mean, also, you think about the employment rate, the wealth gap, all of those things will change.
Sure. The quality of life changes.
Yeah, the quality of life changes. John?
Well, this has been another edition of
The Naked Truth. Please remember to subscribe, and until the next time, may God bless you and may God bless America.